And there you have it, just those comments from the coach. And, you know, he appreciates what he sees. And boy, that's a nice luxury to have as a coach, to have a player that consistent and hits 500 points for his career. Nice magical moment. All right, we said we go to the phones. Let's do that now. Let's go. Busy night of action on the ice. Let's take a look at some of the finals that are in from tonight. The Bees took to the ice to lock up with the Penguins. Pittsburgh posts the overtime winner late, and they get the 2 points. The Red Wings were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Islanders. Detroit terrorized the opposition with a magical offensive display. The Golden Knights had their hands full with the Lightning. Vegas perseveres in this one, and they get the victory. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the... Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Kraken played on the road against the Blackhawks. Seattle tapped into another gear late, and they pick up the victory. The Pens were in a dogfight on the road up against the Sabres. Buffalo played a complete game in this one and easily get the regulation win. The Ducks were on the road to take on the Panthers. Florida tightens it up when they needed to most, and they preserve the victory. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Blues were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Kraken. St. Louis plastered the opposition with a big-time night offensively. The Flyers were looking to steal 2 against the Penguins. Pittsburgh toughed this one out. They needed a shootout, but they turned it up a notch and pick up the win. The Blue Shirts were on the road up against the Oilers. Edmonton pushes past in a tight one. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next. Great night to be on the couch and watching hockey. Tons of scores around the league. Let's take a look at what went down. The Panthers were hoping to fly high on the road against the Islanders. Florida takes this one with a strong effort at both ends of the ice. The Flames were in a dogfight on the road against the Golden Knights. Calgary pummels the opposition with a strong offensive output. The Blues look to run roughshod over the Avalanche. St. Louis tore it up on this night, and they pick up the 2 points. Lots more still to come, including the story in MMA, the hardwood, and more. Stay with us. Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Maple Leafs were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Canadiens. Toronto plays the role of destroyer in the win. The Coyotes were looking to grab points on the road against the Blues. St. Louis tightened it up late in their own end and did enough to preserve the win. The Avalanche paired up with the Blackhawks. Colorado played a tight one, and they were able to pull it out in the end. We got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot more stuff we got to get to, so don't even think about going anywhere. Stay with us. Hey, no shortage of action and drama on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at what happened elsewhere. The Blues battled it out against the Jets. St. Louis toughed this one out, and they get the 2 points. The Penguins took to the ice to battle the Panthers. Florida posts the overtime winner and come away with the extra point. The Wild played on the road against the Oilers. Edmonton toasts their opponents with a night filled with goals. We'll check the inbox, we'll check the text line, and hear what you have to say next. Was there any volatility in the standings across the NHL tonight? Well, let's take a look at some of the final scores to find out. The Canes had an on-ice collision with the Capitals. Carolina placed pad the stat night with a strong offensive performance. The Canadiens were on the road to take on the Ducks. Montreal toppled their opponents with a big offensive night. Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Knights were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Kings. Vegas plastered their opponents with a big offensive output. The Stars were hoping to take a bite out of the Blackhawks. Dallas toughed this one out, picking up the shootout win. The Cats took to the road to match up with the Jets. Florida powerful as usual on the night and a little extra special in goal as they get the shutout win. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. Well, some fun, some drama, a little bit of everything on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of those scores around the league. The Bolts went toe-to-toe on the road against the Blue Jackets. Columbus tore it up, and did they ever in the extra frame, winning in overtime. The Predators took to the ice for a collision with the Panthers. Nashville pulls this one out after finding the back of the net in overtime. The Sharks had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Maple Leafs. San Jose turns in a strong defensive effort, enough to preserve the win. Don't go anywhere. We've got much more here on the show. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Wild paired up with the Canucks. Vancouver played a strong game at both ends of the ice, and as a result, they get the win. The Oilers took on the Stars. Edmonton torches the lamp in the extra frame, and they get the 2-point win. The Flames were hoping to play spoiler against the Blackhawks. Chicago posts a win in a close one. The story on the ice continues in a moment. All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down and all the action in the league tonight. The Stars took to the road to match up with the Capitals. Dallas takes this one in a tightly contested affair. No shortage of action in the National Hockey League. Let's take a look at elsewhere what went down. The Penguins were in tough with the Wild. Pittsburgh popped home the winner in the extra frame and get the 2 points in overtime. The Bulls were looking to steal 2 points against the Rangers. The New York Rangers toughed this one out, and they get the 2 points. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. And coming into this one, can he hit 50? That's what we're wondering. Right there on the cut line, can they hit that 50-goal mark? That would be a fun storyline to track as we inch closer and closer to puck drop. Ray Ferraro will join me up in the broadcast booth in just a few minutes. We'll get his thoughts as we get ready. Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Golden Knights faced off with the Blackhawks. Vegas perseveres through the night, and they get to the shootout where they pick up the extra point in the win. The Sharks faced off against the Blues. St. Louis, too much to handle on this night, and they pick up the win. The Islanders took to the ice to lock up with the Rangers. The New York Islanders, terrific in the shootout, and they get the extra point. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Devils were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Panthers. Florida takes this one as they win it in the shootout. The Oilers had their hands full with the Flames. Calgary pressed when they had to, and they pick up the extra time win. The Blues were in a dogfight on the road up against the Red Wings. Detroit tops the opposition in a fun one. A very special guest drops by on the show, and we'll do that next. All right, let's go around the horn and see what happened elsewhere around the NHL tonight. The Capitals were on the road to take on the Blue Jackets. Washington played one of their strongest defensive games of the year, and they get the win. The Kraken played a game against the Ducks. Seattle turned it up a notch in the extra frame, and they come home with the 2 points. The Bolts were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Red Wings. Tampa Bay played their best when it mattered most, and they get the overtime win. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Let's take a look around the league and some of the final scores out there tonight. The Caps were looking to steal 2 against the Devils. Washington powers up in overtime, and they skate away with the win. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule in the NHL. The Sabres were on the road up against the Blue Jackets. Columbus top. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Rangers were hoping to fly high on the road against the Coyotes. Arizona pounded their opponents into submission with a big offensive output. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. And congratulations again, 50 goals in the season. You know, to this day, and it's always been revered as that magical mark. Ever since Rocket Richard hit it, how many years ago? And here we are even now, after all these years, even in a different century, we still look to 50 as being a magical number in the National Hockey League. So congratulations on hitting 50. That's one time when you turn 50 that it's okay, right? All right, still to come here on the show, we will hear post-game reaction. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick look at some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Jets were in a dogfight on the road against the Avalanche. Colorado tore it up. Seemed like almost everybody got on the score sheet in the win. The Rangers looked to run roughshod over the Blues. The New York Rangers turned it up in the skills competition, and they get the extra point in the win. The Golden Knights were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Sharks. San Jose topples the opposition thanks to a spectacular effort between the pipes in the shutout win. Hey, a few more hot button issues we got to get to. It's a jam-packed show tonight. Stick around. All right, let's take a look at some of the final scores in the league tonight. The Blue Jackets were looking to grab points on the road against the Capitals. Washington pounds home the winner in the extra frame and get the OT win. There were other games on the ice as well across the National Hockey League. Let's bring you up to date on some of the finals. The Sens battled it out against the Devils. Ottawa takes this one in overtime thanks to a spectacular effort in the overtime frame. The Wild played a game against the Blackhawks. Minnesota put on a show offensively in the win. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us, everybody. And congratulations once again. Stick taps all around for career goal number 400. What a career already for this guy. And he's been so good on the ice and such a dynamic offensive force. I guess up next is Ray Ferraro's magic mark of 408 career goals. I'd have to check the numbers. I'm not sure if he's got more than the 2 empty netters that Ray managed in his career, but we'll get our stats department. We'll get Danny Lopes to check in on that for us sometime and try to get that answer for you. All right, still to come here on the show, we'll check in with a time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Kraken played on the road against the Flames. Calgary powers this one out with a strong game in their own end. The Isles took to the ice to battle the Penguins. Pittsburgh takes this one in overtime. The Panthers had an on-ice collision with the Lightning. Florida pulls off some OT heroics and get the win. We got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. You know, when you look at the run that he has had over the course of his career, I mean, he's already built a pretty good resume to make a case for the Hall of Fame. A couple of Stanley Cups, has just been an absolute cornerstone for this franchise. But I also think he's not done yet, right? Like, I'm not ready to retire him just yet. I'm personally speaking, I'm wondering, does he still have enough for a third Stanley Cup? Can he win again? Can he take this team over the top one more time? I personally speaking, I think he has it in him. I think that there's still another run here in him and his ability. But I'm going to turn this over to you. Phone lines are open now. You got a few people already jumping in here. What say you? Can they go the distance with him leading the charge again? Let's go to Danny on line 3. Hey, Danny.
Washington goal, scored by number 9, assisted by number 4, Miro Heiskanen, and by number 86, Timo Teravainen. Final goal, 19 minutes, 45 seconds. 1 minute left in the third period.
just amazed that the confidence that this athlete has, not just in himself, but with this core still. 4 Stanley Cups and counting now, and already still proclaiming a desire and an expectation to win more. Like, that is bold, and that is confident with what we've seen. But quite frankly, whether I want to think that this is a hot take or not, I'm not going there. Because look at what they've done. 4 Stanley Cups already. They have ripped. I want to bring something back to him for a second here, because I've seen a lot of people critical about his comments saying, hey, you know what? I'm not content. I want to win more cups. I want more than what I've got. And people say, you're just being greedy. You're being cocky. You know what? That to me is a sign of someone who wants to win. I want athletes like that on my team. I got no problem to say that you're hungry for more. Absolutely. It's okay to be greedy as a winner. You know who likes to win? Everybody. But who's willing to go that distance? Who's willing to go that extra mile? This is not an easy league. It's the best league in the world. It's not a gimme to win every year. So it doesn't mean you have to like it if you don't win. And it's okay to want to win more than just 1 or 2 for that matter. So I had no qualms with his proclamations, even though he came up short. So the haters out there, zip it. Because I'm not betting against him. I think he's going to deliver again sometime down the road, because I love his compete. Time for a quick break. We got much more on the other side. And the whole narrative and the expression being good in the room, right? Chemistry is important with a team. How many times have we seen teams that are absolutely stacked with talent and they fall apart? Why? Because there was just a disconnect within the room. And I know with some reporters and some of the media members asking the kid, saying, hey, you know what, why, how do you endear yourself to teammates more? I don't know if there's ever really an answer. I mean, you can go out and, try to be the best player you can be. That's one way to do it. Personally speaking, I think another great way to do it is buying everybody pizza. Because, who likes pizza? Everybody, right? Everybody.